Hi, and welcome back to Movies Explained, where we recap your favorite movies for you. Today, we will be recapping a movie about a group of magicians that shake the entire world with their stealing techniques. So without further ado, let's begin. Danny is standing in front of a mirror with cards in his hands, thinking that people should watch him as keenly as possible so that it will be an easy task to make fool of them. He further adds that the most precious gift one can give him is one's attention. One is not watching him, but just observing him to get an answer to his questions. That is why he can easily use that observation against them. In Chicago, on Monday, Danny is in the street doing a magic show, asking a girl to look at the card, which he is going to take out, very keenly. The girl seems to be interested and he flips the cards. He asks her if she can see the card in her mind. The girl replies yes. He spreads the cards in his hand in front of her and asks if she can see the card which she has in her mind, in the cards in his hand. She refuses. He then says that this is because she is paying too much attention. He throws the cards in the sky and suddenly the card in girl's mind appears in the building in form of light. Merritt talks to a lady in the cafe that if she is able to catch a $100 note from his hand, it can be hers. She tries to but cannot reach the note. He then asks her that if she can tell him her name, he will give the note to her. Upon that she tries to speak but cannot. She then laughs and he says to her that she should wait until he bothers her husband for some time. He turns to her husband and asks him that when he was staying in Florida, he was with some girl whose name is Janet. He then mentions that he can make his wife to forget that if he gives him $250. The man gives him the money and he hypnotizes her. In New York on Wednesday, Jack is standing in a boat, asking the passengers that he will give the person $100 if that person tells him how he does the trick of bending a normal spoon by the power of his brain. He does that and people start applauding him. All of a sudden, one person sees another spoon in his pocket and he gets caught. He leaves from there and bumps into another person on the boat. After a few minutes, that person realizes his wallet and watch is gone. In Los Angeles in a nightclub, Henley is standing on the stage. She informs the audience that when the clock will tick 0, tank with omnivores fishes will fall on her and she will have chains in her hands and legs. Then she will be put in a water tank and she has to open the chains before the clock ticks 0. She tries hard to open the chains but cannot open that. Just before the clock strikes 0, she is able to open the chains, but meanwhile the fish tank open and they fall over her. The tank water becomes red. After some minutes, she is standing in the audience totally fine and asking who is saying that it is a trick. One night Danny comes to his apartment with his girlfriend and sees a card placed on the side table. He is very surprised to see the card. The same night Jack is standing on the shore counting the money he has and when he checks his back pocket and he gets a card which surprises him. Merritt also finds the card at a cafe table. Henley gets the card floating in the fish tank. Only one thing is written on the cards. The date March 29th, 4:44 p.m., with the address 45 East Evans Street, New York, is written on the card. They all decided to go there and find what it is all about. Danny meets Henley on the street and asks her what she is doing there. They both see Merritt there. This catches him by surprise and says he is amazed to see them there. All three of them are standing there talking, when Jack comes there and greets Danny and says that he is his biggest fan. Merritt asks if he gets a card as well. Jack asks them why not they have entered yet. Danny says door is locked, but Jack opens the lock and they all enter and look around. The apartment is in a terrible condition. They go inside and see a card with a note "Now you don't" and a rose placed beside it. Henley puts the flower in nearby water pot and the water starts to run to a mark. A gas spreads to the whole room. They try to turn on the switches when they see a projection with blueprint. They are all amazed to see such details. 1 year later in Las Vegas, they all do a magic show together. They say that they are about to do something which has never happened before as they are about to rob a bank. The audience gives them a huge round of applause. Bradley, who has been a magician but now does a TV show to unveil magical tricks, is sitting in the audience and is recording the show. Danny chooses a bank owner from the audience whose bank they are going to rob. The bank owner agrees and they actually manage to rob the bank. The audience starts cheering them. FBI comes to arrest them. Agent Rods doesn't want to take this case, but he has to because of the orders from above. His boss tells him that he has to work with an Agent Alma from the Interpol. He goes to talk to the man whose bank has been robbed, but he says that he does that by magic and teleportation. Agent Rods is frustrated at this scenario and goes to talk to Merritt and Danny. Rods warns them that he will not spare them, but as he has no proof they are set free. Agent Rods and Agent Alma then go to meet Bradley. Rods asks Bradley to cooperate and tell him how they are able to rob the bank. Bradley takes him to the same stage and shows him the trick that they have made a vault in the stage. They have met him several times and improvised his presence. Rods is surprised to know about that. Rods and Alma then go to France to track them down to expose them. They get to know that they all have tracking bracelets around their arms. Alma tries to explain history of magic to Rods, but he refuses to listen. Mr. Tressler, the owner of the four magicians, asks Bradley to not unveil their magic tricks details of the last show and to take $3.5 million and leave. Tressler warns Bradley that this is going to be a war. He would not let him go this easily. Bradley says he is not warned for the first time. Bradley comes to say good luck to them before their show in Paris. Rods and Alma are also there to watch the show. They come to stage and say whoever wants to destroy them can go ahead. They have no fear of them, and then they start performing. Danny says what magic actually is. It is nothing but just an illusion. He asks the audience to look keenly. They perform ancient tricks and audience cheers for them. Alma gets very impressed and cheers for them. They ask everybody to write their bank balance on a paper, and when they do, they again ask them to heat it with the help of a torchlight. Audience does follow their instructions keenly. They ask Tressler to come over to the stage. They manage to rob him and send the money to the accounts of the people affected by Tressler Insurance Company. This makes Tressler furious and he tries to hit them, but there is a chain in his leg. Rods and Alma try to catch them, but they escape. They run after them by the help of the tracker present on their arm, but they are unable to capture them. Tressler asks Bradley to meet him and ask him to unveil their trick. Bradley asks for $5 million for that. Tressler agrees to the amount. Rods get to know that his phone has been swapped. They have been tracking his phone calls, and that is how they are able to escape this easily. The security team of FBI tracks Rod's original phone, and it happens to be in New York City. They are winding up everything from New York City when FBI comes to raid there. FBI enters the house. Jax fights with Rods and escapes from there by the help of an air duct, but Rods follows him. Alma takes a man's car and run away. Jack takes FBI's car and leaves. Alma comes to get Rods. Bradley is standing outside with cameras talking to Tressler that he gets his four companions. Alma and Rod follow Jack. They are being monitored by a helicopter as well. Jack's car gets crashed by hitting another car and catches the fire. Rods try to save him, but he is not able to do so. Bradley then calls Rods and says that Alma is doing something to help four of them and is cheating on Rods. Rods get furious on Alma believing him. Another FBI officer asks Rod to take over the case as he has been a failure so far. Jack has a blueprint of a vault in his hand, which has millions of dollars in it. When he dies in the car crash, Rods takes that paper from his hand. They get to know where that safe is and go to that vault. But there is no safe in the vault. Meanwhile, the safe is being loaded in the truck. Rods and his fellow officers follow the safe. They get the safe but ask the driver to take it where they have demanded it so that they can catch them. The safe has been taken to that place and FBI follows it. They upload a video, informing the audience where they are going to do their next show. Rods and fellow officers are hiding inside the safe. Police mark their place, but a woman opens the safe. It takes Rods by shock when he sees Bradley there. He says to Bradley that he has been everywhere, wherever they go. Rods have the opinion that Bradley is the fifth member of their group, but Bradley denies it strongly. Bradley asks Rods to open the safe, but it is all empty. In the meantime, the show starts. FBI raids the place of the show and reaches the stage. But upon reaching there, they get to know they are just mannequins. Alma and Rods go to the other direction and try to get them, but they manage to escape. Bradley comes down in the parking lot and opens his car and sees his car filled with money. Just then, FBI comes and arrests him. Rods come to see Bradley in jail in his cell. Bradley says that he is being framed and he can prove this, but Rods asks him to shut up. Bradley tells him that the safe has been there all the time but has been covered by a giant mirror. When he leaves after seeing that place empty, they then get there to steal that safe, and then all of it is done by Jack. Rods say it is unbelievable as Jack has died in front on his own eyes. Rods further mentions that he should probably match the arrows between Lionel Shrike's death, the bank, and Tressler's insurance. All of them go to the Central Park in front of the Lionel Shrike's tree, which sees a card engraved in a mirror. They all attach their cards and it becomes a big card. Henley places the card in front of the card engraved in the mirror. Upon that, lights are turned on in the playland besides them and they all go to the playland. Rods say that their eyes are everywhere and he is waiting for the separation of magnificent magicians from the ordinary magicians. Rods say that Bradley always wants to be one of the most magnificent magicians, but he is not capable of it. That is why he decides to unveil the tricks of the other magicians. Bradley refuses the existence of Third Eye. Rods asks him to give him a name of the person who is behind all of this. Bradley says he doesn't know, but they have always been a step ahead of him and FBI. Moreover, if they have access to the vault, they have someone to help them. When Bradley looks behind him, he sees Rods is not present there. He understands at that moment that Rods has been helping them. Bradley asks him why he would do that. Rods says that he has waited a long time for this to come. He says to Bradley that his ego has bewitched him. He always thinks that he is a step ahead, but indeed he has been behind him all the time. Rods further say that he wants Bradley to think what he has done. After that, 4 of them meet Rods in the playland. They are very surprised to see Rods there. Rods meet Alma in a bridge in Paris and say that he has understood that it is all connected. Alma asks if Lionel Shrike is his father. Rods think about the past when he is a kid and his father has to go to his last show and gives Rods his watch. He says to Alma that it is up to her if she wants to solve this case and arrest him, but Alma refuses by saying that there are certain things which should be left unveiled. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching, and if you liked it then please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel. We will see you in the next one.